My name is Liam Brannigan. I'm a member of the contract sales team here at Atlas World. I'd like to offer a warm welcome to everyone today. Thank you for taking the time to attend our Atlas Energy Monitoring webinar hosted by our very own Ian Campbell. Ian is our Energy Commercial Sales Manager. In a few moments, Ian will give an introduction and take us through his presentation. If you look to the bottom of your screen, you will see a Q&A section. If you have any queries or questions throughout the presentation, please ask them here. I will ask for Ian to respond to all questions at the end. And before we finish up, we will also have a few questions for yourselves in the form of a feedback survey. I would really appreciate it if you could take a few moments just to answer these honestly before leaving the webinar. Once again, thank you for connecting with Atlas World today. I will now pass you over to my colleague, Ian Campbell. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you very much indeed, Liam. Thanks, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, obviously, I'd like to thank you all for giving me your time this afternoon to listen in and see what we actually can offer as a company. I'd like to introduce myself a wee bit first to give you a bit of credibility. I've been in the energy game for 20 odd plus years, but I cut my teeth as an electrician with NIE many years ago, working in the power stations, etc. Then I moved into Northern Ireland Water as a consultancy role, and from then into energy with Dalkia, Veolia, etc. So I've been on this for quite a wee while, and I would like to start this webinar off as, obviously, many of you probably aren't aware of all the bits and pieces that Atlas actually do. I'll give you a little bit of background on what we Atlas as a company do, and then we can go a bit more into the energy monitoring side of things. So Atlas is divided up into four main sectors of our business. We have the fire and security, energy. We also cover audio-visual and assistive living. And these aspects, as you can see, there's a full spectrum of services and kit that we actually offer. But energy is the core of what I look after. And you can also see that there's a bridge with cause and effect and building analytics between the fire and security side and the energy side. But today, I'm going to talk mostly on the energy side and what we can do for you and on how we can help you as a business. You're probably all aware about the climate change government department's effort to reduce carbon emissions by 2050. And depending on who is in power at that time, over the next number of years, it might be tighter deadlines to drive carbon reductions, etc. And I'll make reference to the Climate and Energy Framework 2030. I currently sit on the Northwest Regional Energy Strategy Stakeholder Committee to help and provide information to assist Derry City and Strabane District Council. Some of the councils are already looking into and investing in microgrid solutions for larger users. So the fiscal and sub-metering systems provided by Atlas will identify energy usage on a live platform, and this can be transposed to carbon usage with half-hourly live data to enable you to meet your carbon reduction government legislation. So, as I mentioned earlier there, the Climate Change 2030 as an interim step and the framework and the targets set out for that. So, as Lord Kelvin said, a little quick historical note, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. So that's really the ethos where we've developed our template: what, where, when, and why. So what are we using? Where are we using it? When are we using it? And why are we using it? So we currently provide solutions for healthcare, commercial, government, and education sectors. And just to build on that, Atlas have been monitoring energy usages from 2009 for our clients, and some of our clients include the NHS. 60% of our buildings have AMR systems already installed. The Education Authority, in excess of 100 schools, housing associations, and social housing schemes. And we're monitoring in excess of 2,000 buildings for our clients. The question then is, how are we doing that? So this is one of the systems that we use, and we have been directly involved in its development and the implementation of this platform. specifically, this was designed to sit into the foyers of buildings, etc., and it's an overview of what's going on in the background. The whole system is web-based, so it's not locally installed, so it doesn't interfere with any of your issues with IT. The dashboard has tiered access, and again, I'll go into this in a bit more detail in a minute or two. There's live system reporting at 30-minute intervals, and fault reporting emails, so it generates it's self-diagnosing. If there's an issue outside certain parameters, it will feed you that information out via email or SMS. And it also can populate missing data and interpolation in different colors. And I'll go into that again. It'll make a bit more sense in a minute or two. So as I mentioned there, it has a tiered login system. So you can see my credentials there. Please don't copy them. I'll get me in a whole lot of trouble. So in this instance, energy managers can have visibility of the entirety of the monitored system. And you can then tier that down so that local managers have visibility of their sites only. Engineering staff may have visibility of maybe just particular meters or metered groups, and depending on your requirements. So this can be set up how you require it. In a lot of instances, you can even give the electricians on the ground access to specific meters, as I say. They can go out with a live reading, look at what it's demonstrating on the system, and look at the local meter for very easy meter validation. But you can also go into bill validation, etc. from that. But I'll just go into a wee bit onto once you do log in. So for the overview status, you get to this landing page. It is a little bit hard to see, so hopefully with the aid of this fancy thing, I'll be able to use my laser pointer. So forgive me. Oh, there we go. Now, the way this is broken down, these boxes at the top here, you can look at the electric consumption, the water consumption, gas consumption. So this is all on the consumption side, and then you move into the generation side here, where you've got your generated electricity, possibly from PV or CHP plant, borewell or abstracted water, and gas generation from biogas or biomethane plants, etc. And then these are just graphed into trend analysis below that, where you have your electrical consumption, your gas, steam flow, and water consumptions. And the system, as I mentioned earlier, is self-diagnostic. So these, this gives you the signal strength and integrity from the metered points feeding back onto the system, and that generates alerts, etc. So as I mentioned, this data is half hourly and it's live. So I'm going to draw your attention to this little box here, which is for interpolated information. With that checked, if I show you the next slide, you can actually see that there's a red line here. Now, we know on this site that there was an issue, there was a power spike on this particular site, which caused an erroneous reading to be transmitted. Now, with this, you can identify where and when that took place, and this data, it's based on an algorithm to identify either side and the average usage. If I move to the next slide, demonstrating without the interpolated data ticked, you can actually see what the erroneous reading came through from, and that shows you that. Now, in each of these elements, you can download the hourly data. You can also download the half-hourly raw data, and you can have the raw data. Now, with it being interpolated, it gives you the information in the usable format, so you can then graphically display it whatever way you want for the time periods you want. So you can select a date range, as in this instance, or if I go back a slide or two here, you can actually see this is just a day. So you can pick a particular day and that'll show you your graph for that day. Or as I say, with the date range, you can actually go in and select a period of time. And again, depending on the amount of data you store, you can go up to 3 to 5 years, dependent on the information you currently have, or from starting off from scratch, the amount of information you want to store. This is one of the other formats that we use. Again, it's a dashboard held system. and you can log in. Again, the reason I'm showing you this and this other system that we use is so that we, based on your requirements, can develop the optimum system for you, and the way you want your information displayed and taken forward. So how does AMR benefit you? Well, sites or users can be monitored and billed individually and accurately. We can develop building profiles, base loads and trends for energy use. Wastage identification and reduction. I'll show you a couple of examples of that in a few minutes, where you can target high use areas and drill down into where energy is being used. That would be water, heat, compressed air, electricity, is being wasted, and change plant and machinery, or even just operator habits to reduce the wastage or to improve efficiencies. And you have anytime access to accurate and reliable utility data. The platform's online 24/7. And because we're local and our development team is local, if you have any issues, you come to us. It's a one-stop shop from that point of view. If you have anybody shout out, you shout at us, and we get it resolved. So the bill verification as well. So metering data and the products. So we can pick up physical metering, gas, water, electricity. You can also pick up other systems, so BACnet and Modbus. The local metering on subcircuits enables interrogation of actual consumption of all energy sources. Again, there's no point in me reading the whole thing. You can actually read that for yourselves, but this is how the system takes the information, it transmits it onto the web, and I'll actually go through the fundamentals of how that process takes place in a few minutes. And just while I have your attention, I actually show you the physical size of these units. So this is actually a temperature logger, which can be fitted onto pipework, or it can be an ambient air temperature sensor. So it's quite a small unit. The water mains unit is slightly larger. It has a flying lead, so that can be attached onto the meter. And then this is in its IP67 box, making it completely submersible. The mini routers these are all contained within the system that we then build and install. And an example of a router, there's nothing magical about it, but it's the culmination of all these elements that make this system so unique. So some of the products that, once we've identified where your wastages are, some of the products that we provide then to help assist with reducing your energy consumption or meeting your energy and climate change requirements. Lighting, LED power schemes. We also do induction, although that's not quite as popular as the LED has now become. Power systems, solar PV, and we also have a new product that we're assisting in development with and trialing at the minute, which are solar blinds. I'm really excited about that. I can't go into that in enough detail, but obviously it's still going through the trial stage, so that's going to be fantastic when we roll that out. So offices where there's a lot of dead window space, etc., these blinds can go into the installation and produce power. And so yeah, I'll go into that a wee bit more at a later date, but it's something we're working on and with. So heat recovery systems, air ground source heat pumps, and solar thermal water systems. With water, rainwater harvesting systems, water rationalization products, also water abstraction, borewell systems, etc. With air, HVAC systems, and de-strap systems. Again, I'm pretty sure you're all fairly aware of what they do. And we can go into, if you want to take any of these questions further, we can come out and give you advice and surveys, etc. And again, that's highlighted slightly later on. On the control side of things, specifically, you can look at lighting and heating zone control, BMS systems, sub-metering, and energy monitoring, management, and targeting. Again, that's what we're all about with VSDs. Again, just to reduce your energy consumptions and try not to interfere with harmonics, etc. So an example I was saying about identification of wastage. So this is actually real data, and the following, I've got 3 examples of water leaks that we identified. obviously we can show you electricity. It's very easy to see. You can see power being used, you can see monitors being left on, heating systems, etc. But water seems to get a bit of a bide wall. It's one of the invisible wastages where water can go underground into ground strata or groundwater. So this just shows you whenever you do identify. So we identified in this instance from the graph, you can see that there's a baseline, and if we look at the far end here, the baseline in around 1.5 to 2 megaliters per hour. That dramatically increased over a very short period of time, as you can see. So there was a rupture in the mains water, and what we've done is we've taken that. So this issue was identified and resolved. But if that had gone unnoticed or unresolved, the cost per month based on those values were approximately £2,000 per month, and 714 meters cubed approximately of water on a monthly basis would have been lost had that not been identified as quickly as it was. And the other two examples are similar, not the same scale, however, but you can again see with this one, it's water, £88 for that one. And again, burst water main. And in this one, the same thing. You can see the water and the trend, obviously the trend analysis of the daily usages, and then all of a sudden this spikes, so the baseline increases considerably here, and the savings per month on that one, £125. So what can we do for you? Atlas, apart from all the other aspects I mentioned earlier, the 4 streams of the business, on the energy monitoring side of things, we can monitor your energy consumption in units or cost and carbon emissions. This can be done under reporting set up so that it feeds into your ISO 50001. We do metering and sub-metering. We carry out energy efficiency assessments and auditing, so we can go to your facility and see what you're doing and how you're doing it, and make suggestions as to how that can be changed. And obviously other bits of kit that will help you reduce the power demand that you have. We can help with the development of strategic energy plans, carbon reduction strategies, and solutions to help you meet those targets. We also look at thermography. Again, it's another unseen art, fascinating topic on its own. We can look at that for you. And again, if you want to take that further with us, give us a wee shout. And we can also give training on energy efficiency. Some of the clients that we actually work with, just to give you an idea, we're not just a standalone working with one body. We work with all the sectors of industry: commercial, educational, health, and social housing. And in relation to the reporting, we can provide exemption reports for wastage or leakage. So you set the parameters into the system as to what you would deem to be your normal, or we can do a baseline analysis and find out what you're using. Excuse me, I'll just take a wee sip of this. Apologies. So we can look at what your baseline of your water, electricity, compressed air, etc. is, and then set parameters so that we can identify outside the norm of that. And that can be done with graphical displays on consumption. We also do bill validation or offset reading, CO2, greenhouse gas, and CHG emissions. Regression analysis, once we have a certain amount of data on your site, we can then look at regression analysis to see what has been done over a period of time. And then NPIs, or normalized billing performance indicators. And just to give you an idea, I was talking about the live platform. So any mobile kit, if I just show you the iPad here, so on this I get daily reports sent to me which give consumption analysis and exemption reporting, and if there's any failures that on reporting elements, that'll be sent directly to my email address. And also the kit itself, so you can actually see it live. Working away here, you'll probably see that flicking through. Hopefully it's a rolling system. So that's live, and again, you can drill down. So all the functionality that I was demonstrating earlier there can be picked up on the likes of iPads, it can be picked up on mobile phones or any mobile platform that you have. Excuse me. So why would you pick us above anybody else? Well, we have a comprehensive energy management system. We have clear return on investment. So if you are looking at new plant, we can give you, it's broken down into the cost, including installation costs, what your local power pricing would be, the run hours, etc. And this system is completely independent of your IT and utility. It's standalone, and we are a standalone company with superior monitoring systems and products. We have a superior customer service and proven track record of a quality service. I would like to think that everybody that does deal with Atlas, and we do get quite a lot of surveys carried out to say that that we do provide that extra element. We have a premium client portfolio, and last but not least, our experience, which in turn gives you peace of mind. So look, this is Atlas World. We look forward to working with you. I really appreciate your time this afternoon, and thank you for listening. I'm now going to hand you back to Liam, who hopefully has one or two questions that he's going to bring to the fore. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Hi Ian, yeah, thanks very much for that. And there's a few questions that have come in here. So we'll just take a few moments to go through them one by one, if you don't mind.
Sure.
First question is in from Mike. How useful is the live information compared to daily reports?
Sorry, could you say that again, Liam?
Yes, how useful is the live information compared to daily reports?
Oh, certainly. Well, if for the example there where you have a water leak where there's a burst mains, previously you'd have had to get the information, which is typically 12 hours behind. You then download that information, review it. If you identify any issues, then you pass that on. So it's roughly 24 to 48 hours from identification of an issue to action being taken, and then you then have the delay following that with getting contractors out to site, etc. With this live system, once you've put in the parameters of your baselines, if that parameter is breached in any way, shape, or form, and an increase of demand or consumption, then an exemption report is immediately sent through to whatever you elect, whether that be your mobile phone, email as an SMS message, etc. So it's immediately the energy manager for that site is made aware of the increase of consumption. So action can be taken an awful lot faster. And if you're looking at megaliters of water passing through a break or potentially contaminating the water within the system by allowing groundwater access or egress into your system, it gives a much faster response time. And the fact that this live gives you that ability. Hopefully that answers that question, Ian.
Okay, thanks, Ian. And another question from Sarah. What format do the reports come in?
The reports come in whatever format you want. The way that we bring the information down is via CSV, so that we can use those for reporting. But the reports themselves come in I suppose it was the demonstration earlier. If I actually can show you one of the reports that I get if I open this, as long as I don't infringe on any GDPR. So if I move this over so you can't see, we can actually see, I don't know if you can actually see the data here. So it gives you your consumption information there down the side. That can then be downloaded as a CSV. And you can then break into and analyze the data. Initially, it'll come through as an alert, as an SMS. It'll be an alert, and the address of that particular meter and the graph of that. Whenever you click on the report, it actually opens up. It highlights the shortcut to that. So you click on that, whenever the SMS or the email comes through, it's a link. So you click on that link, and that takes you immediately to that meter, so you can identify the problem. Okay.
Okay, and next question from John. How much savings can I expect to make? Typically,
just by putting the system in, you're talking roughly 25%. of immediately, once you put the system in and people are aware that you're monitoring electricity without making any physical changes to your plant whatsoever, just by creating an awareness that energy monitoring is taking place, you can expect to see quite an increased saving immediately. Now that does wane over a period of time as people tend to get back into the way that they were. But once you've identified your usages, then we look at how we can make the saving, whether that just be changing the SOPs or standard operating procedures for various plant offsetting, etc., or putting in PV. The savings, you can actually bring your facility, this is a bold statement, but you can bring your facility to carbon zero, or by putting in certain, whether that be PV, solar blinds, air source heat pumps, etc., and change everything onto an electrical format and then offset that. That is a bold statement, however, it is possible to do that. So the impact really is dependent on the amount of money you have and the extent that you want to go to.
Okay, and Tony is asking, do Atlas retain a percentage of these savings, or is it one initial cost only?
No, we bill for the facility, for the monitoring facility. No, the savings are completely held by the client, so by yourself, by Tony. So if you install the system, whatever you save that, Tony. You're just paying for the system and that monitoring facility.
Okay, and Claire is asking, can the dashboard be viewed on any device, or is specific software required?
No, there's no software required for any of your devices. All the software is web-based, which is the beauty of this system. Obviously, we do support other systems that you do have to put software on. However, this system that we're sort of more talking about there today is completely web-based. You can log in. As long as you have your login details, it will give you the tiered access that you require, and it can be viewed on any device, any mobile platform or PC system. As long as you have an internet access, then you can get access to the system.
Okay, and final question, Ian, is there much trouble getting the installation?
The installation of the metering, sorry, can you clarify that a wee bit, Liam?
It doesn't specifically say, but
all right, okay.
Yeah.
I suppose the very short answer is no. We would carry out a site survey and evaluate what the requirements were, and then obviously on agreement of quotation, etc., we would carry out the installation of the physical kit on site. But there is no installation of software. It is just a matter of getting the platform organized in conjunction with our partners, iTouch, SmartTech there. Once the dashboard has been enabled for yourselves, then the logins are there. It's a very straightforward system to install.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much, Ian. Just before we wrap up, folks, thanks again to everyone who attended today from the team here at Atlas World. We hope you have a better insight into our energy monitoring solutions and an understanding of how they can be used to save energy and ultimately your business money. As I mentioned at the beginning, we have a short customer feedback survey and would really appreciate it if you can take a few moments to answer the questions honestly to help assist us with continuous improvement. Over the past number of weeks, we've hosted a number of other webinars. These have been on fire suppression, temperature screening, thermal imaging cameras, environmental monitoring, wireless nurse call systems, and addressable emergency lighting systems. If you're unfortunate enough to miss any of these, you can view them on the Atlas World YouTube channel. Please contact any member of our team for details. So if you wouldn't mind answering the questions there on our feedback poll. I hope you and your families are well. Stay safe, look after each other, and take care. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.